Hey, welcome back to another unboxing video. In this video, we're going to open up a box of comics from Atomic Avenue. Now, if you're not familiar with Atomic Avenue, it's essentially a comic book marketplace. They don't do auctions, it's pretty much just online stores. And this has been around for quite some time, but it allows for different sellers to start up a store, and it's all searchable through this Atomic Avenue interface. Now, I use this with a few other sources online to essentially satisfy my FOMO. I don't know how else to put it, but when you're seeing top 10 lists and a lot of other speculators talking about books, I don't have the luxury of just walking down the street into LCS and seeing all those keys in a dollar bin that you can send off and get 9/8. I actually have to do some research and look around online, and one of the places that I end up finding some books is Atomic Avenue. Now, it's a combination of, again, like I said, books that are picking up some heat or have appeared on some top 10 lists and things like that. And then also I'm looking for maybe some books that I've missed at auction recently and just want to go ahead and pay, for a particular condition. Everything's kind of sorted and organized. You can find out more by going to Atomic Avenue directly. So let's get to the unboxing and figure out how they ship and things like that. Now this is from a very specific seller. And I'm not going to disclose the seller because when you get on there, you can kind of make your own decisions. Everyone kind of has different feedback, like eBay and everything. But the first thing you'll notice here, it was sent USPS Media Mail. Not too excited about that, but everything did arrive. Tape here. Okay, so inside looks like there is a bit of extra brown paper, and looks like it was sent in these nice comic box size folders. We'll take a look and see. Looks like there's two. All right, so far so good. That aside, and now we've got a couple of these to open. So these are pretty sturdy. Looks like there's just one piece of tape on each. Cut this one as well. There we go. Now let's do that. This one was asking to be opened, I think. So we'll open this one first. Alright, so we have a little bit of bubble wrap inside, just to protect the books, I guess, from sliding around. Some extra filler. So I'll try and explain why I purchased some of these. It could be for several different reasons, like I said, different lists. One of the other things that I do is I will look at cover prices daily. List of books that are picking up on value or has had some recent sale spikes, because that means there's probably somebody on the market maybe moving these books around, and cover price is picking up on sources like eBay and not on online stores. So that's another reason why when you hear speculators say, oh, somebody's cleared out eBay, cleaned them out, I often will run to online stores and check, and there's plenty of issues there. Okay, so let's see. We'll start with Hulk 365, and I honestly got it because one of my favorite artists, Walt Simonson. I don't have this for my collection, and it's really cool. Right in that range of Simonson covers, McFarlane, right around that age. This is a 1989 issue, 365. This book, Incredible Hulk 325, this has been picking up a little bit of heat recently. I did find a copy. This one was interesting because I bought this because the seller had this listed as near mint. And on Atomic Avenue, everything is broken out by grade, and again, the grading, it really depends. It's subjective based on the seller. And I have rankings on my website, moneyballcomics.com, that kind of go through and break up the rankings for Atomic Avenue in general. So if if you're not really familiar with a very specific seller there, then you can at least use my stats to get a general idea of the condition. Now, this book was listed as near mint. The seller contacted me and said, I think it's actually it's a VF near mint. Do you still want to buy it? I said yes. He took, I think, $1 off. So he refunded me $1. So let's take a quick look. You know, yeah, I see a little bit of overhang on the cover here. It's really not too bad. Yeah, I think I see what he's talking about. There's definitely some issue up here. So yeah, it may not be necessarily near mint per se, but pretty good shape. Slightly miswrapped, but you know, corners are okay. Would I press it? I don't know. Maybe to see if I could clean up that corner. That'd be a fun process there to try and get that corner cleaned up. So is that a very fine? Gosh, I think he was being a little harsh. I appreciate the honesty. So you can go on there and you can give sellers feedback just like you would eBay. And so you can 1 through 5 stars and start to talk about, you know, whether their grades were fair and so on. All right, now this one, if you were watching my Heritage auction prep video, I still owe everybody kind of a follow-up to that based on what happened, but there was a CGC 9.8 white pages of this book, and I would have won this book, but I actually forgot to check the Heritage auction. The Heritage auction runs for hours, and I forgot to check and see if this book was up at the time, and I missed it. And it sold in a 9.8 for less than what I was like for my target. So if you go back and watch that video, I had like a whole spreadsheet around target bids. It sold for less than my target. So when I saw that it sold, I was so upset and disappointed. And I went and I bought this at Atomic Avenue for, you know, clearly a fraction of the price since it's not CGC graded. I'm a big Iron Man fan, so I don't have this in the collection. It weirded me out that there was a 9.8. It's not a key, and it was at Heritage. Anyway, I had to have a copy of it. Iron Man 215. This is a book that I took around with me as a kid everywhere. I was just a huge fan of Bob Layton, Marc Bright, this era of Iron Man from 1986. Just love it. And when I was going through my personal collection and sorting things and kind of mixing it up with my current collection, when I took it out of the bag and board to give it a grading, I had traced it when I was a kid, which is fine. It's great. I had a lot of fun tracing books. I traced keys, and that was what I did as a kid. And so I just kind of made a mental note of this one and said if I could pick up just a regular non-traced copy of this and put it back in the PC, that would be great. So that was why I got that one. Marc Spector Moon Knight 25. Now this one, there's no real specific speculation news on this, but it is a giant size issue. So cover price is $250, and honestly I don't know if I paid really much more than that. It looks to be in pretty good shape. But with all the rumors swirling around Ghost Rider, Midnight Suns, you've got Moon Knight, Street Level. I mean, these team-up sort of books are becoming all the rage. I love that it's sort of an anniversary sort of 25th issue. And I just had to have it just for all of those reasons. I was buying Moon Knight's first series, single issues. And then once everyone kind of caught on to that, I've moved on to the Marc Spector run. Similarly to Marvel Comics Presents, everyone jumped on with the first Weapon X or Weapon X Origin book with the skull on the front. And when everyone was jumping on that, I started to jump on the issues around it that were related to Wolverine. This one just popped at me when I was going through this particular seller's inventory as one of those covers. Like everyone's like, hey, did everybody see this really cool cover. Well, I bought 10 of them, and now check it out. It's really awesome, right? And you saw that with the Marvel Comics Presents with the Sam Keith Venom cover much later in the run. And then all of a sudden that issue spiked and sold for a crazy amount. So just looking at that, there's, like I always say, there's plenty of comic books, there's plenty of great covers. This is another great cover. Along the lines of Weapon X, these Barry Windsor-Smith covers are great, very nostalgic. This is a wraparound cover. And again, I'll have to take this out of the bag and board and take a look, but man, it looks pretty nice. And this seller shipped in really great. I don't know if these are my lights, but very, very sturdy. These aren't sliding around, no impact damage at all. So really, really pleased with the contents and how they were shipped. Another Marvel Comics Presents. This is 92. Again, everyone jumped all over that Venom issue. How about Ghost Rider and Cable, right? Maybe not the most memorable story, but cool cover done by Sam Keith, great artist of the 90s. Just really, really liked that, and was a missing issue in my Marvel Comics Presents run. Now this one was also a book that I was targeting that I don't have. I have the .1 with the first Sam Alexander as Nova, but this one people were speculating on as the first cover appearance of America Chavez. I believe that is her right there. So if you're into first cover appearances and you really, really love that as a cover appearance, by all means, go out and get this one. I think that there are better covers from the America first series. There's some homage covers, some musical homage album cover type books there. I think that those are better, but people were jumping on this, and I found one on Atomic Avenue and grabbed it. Another great 90s book, Spider-Man #7. I have multiple copies of this. This is something I pick up when I see it for $1 or $2. I just grab it. It's great. I love just the way that McFarlane twisted it and contorted the figures in his art. And again, Ghost Rider, he's coming back. He's going to be back in some way, shape, or form. So I'm just grabbing as many Ghost Rider and Moon Knight, Wolverine type books as I can. So let me set those aside and we'll get into the second brick. So far so good. Really pleased with the orders so far. Alright. Then I guess continuing the theme of just stuff I keep picking up, Alpha Flight. For some reason I just have a feeling that some variation of Alpha Flight or characters from Alpha Flight are going to show up at some point somewhere. And you know, comic books, the hobby, it's hotter than it's ever been for the last couple of years for sure. And there really aren't that many titles that you can just kind of go back and say this was a significant title at the time. It still should be significant, but just not a lot of people collect it, or for some reason it hasn't picked up value. Alpha Flight to me is one of those series where I can still go and grab older books for what I would say relatively cheap. This was a book that I got not too long ago, and it was pretty beat up, so I was just trying to upgrade this copy. Again, looking at single digits, always like to get the single digits of a long-running series. Really nothing more to say about that. Just happy to get a better copy in the PC. So the Alpha Flight 58 and up, these are Jim Lee art books. So this is I believe this is a Jim Lee cover and his art inside. So some of his early Marvel art is in Alpha Flight. And as a Jim Lee fan, I just like to grab back issues of his early art. This is another one. Really cool kind of angle and composition on this one. I don't remember if I had 58. I certainly didn't have 59. Alright, I'm going to put this one aside. I promise I'll explain myself. Doctor Strange 61, we'll jump to this one. These are Doctor Strange. For some reason, was not a character that I had a lot of issues of. I didn't really collect him as a character when I was younger. I certainly, when he entered the MCU, I started to look back and take a look at his other series and other keys. The keys pass me up; they're out of my range. So I'm just trying to grab different issues. And this particular issue I picked up because this is Doctor Strange versus Dracula. And if we've got vampires and Blade and all of this coming, and Dracula has to be somewhere in the plans. And it's just, again, looking at either battles or team-ups where I can't go into Tomb of Dracula, those early books, and grab those keys. I'm just looking at some other issues kind of related. So another Doctor Strange Dracula book, 61 and 62. Not sure what that line is there. Printing defect, not sure. Fantastic Four 284. Honestly, got this book because She-Hulk was on the cover. Not her best moment there on the cover, but I try to just pick up filler issues. Fantastic Four, this is it right in the middle of the John Byrne run, and really nothing more than just sort of being a completionist. Same thing with this one, 291. Again, She-Hulk cover, Fantastic Four, and that Action Comics homage. You know, if you're talking about current homages like Red Room #3, where it's homaging Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that book going up, go back and look at back issues. There's tons of homage covers that just weren't called out at the time. I probably saw this as a kid in my local comic book shop, and just I didn't realize that it was an Action Comics homage, and I honestly didn't realize it until recently, and didn't have this, so wanted to go ahead and add that one. Fantastic Four 358, double-sized 30th anniversary issue. This is a die-cut cover. Just wanted this for the cover, for the... Sometimes these double-sized books, they end up just kind of falling in line with the prices of the other books. Like you've got 75 cents, you've got $2.50, and then the books just sort of have value depending on, you know, obviously the content, first appearances, and everything. Sometimes it's nice to go back and get those double-sized issues for almost cover at that point. Another great homage cover, actually both of these in the pair, 390 and 391. 391 looks like it has some dirt, 390 as well. But these keys are way out of my range. But what a fun pair of books here. Fantastic Four, homaging Fantastic Four. You know, typically these covers are homaged in different series, so it's kind of fun that this is within Fantastic Four itself. These are Paul Ryan covers. Again, just some fun books to add to a Fantastic Four run. Now, when I buy from places like Atomic Avenue, even Mile High, or some other places, I try to treat myself to one older back issue. This is what I did as a kid. About once a month at the LCS, I would find one book, and I would say I'd like to buy that as a back issue. I would save my allowance money up. So now that I'm older, I kind of do the same thing. And I figure if I'm getting a nice shipment of books, which this was a great shipment, really, really pleased with that, why not add one more book? And this is Avengers number 24. I believe that the seller listed this as fine. I bought this because I'm actually reading this original Avengers series from issue 1. I'm just about to start issue 6. Because I can read them digitally now, and I'm really going back. I'm just about to get into that run of Zemo and Kang and Immortus, and trying to get ready for what's coming up in the MCU. So I'm not going to take this one out of the bag, but you can kind of see it definitely has some spine wear, typical softening of the corner there, but doesn't look too bad. I would say that the only thing that I don't like about it, and this is the tough part when you're buying online, I understand, you can't see the book. So from a presentation perspective, it's quite yellow or tan on the cover, so it doesn't really have that white eye-popping color. But from just a general condition perspective, the wrapping is slightly off on the bottom, but it's not too bad. It's not bad. Yeah, it looks like it could benefit from a press. I'm seeing a little bit of a bump here, right there where my thumb is. Some color breaking, but not a lot. Like at the top of these books, you typically see in the 5 range, 5 or 5.5. Right there in the mid-grade, you usually see the Silver Age books start to ripple right here, but look how crisp and clean that edge is. So that's really nice. Same for the bottom. You don't have that. So is this a 6.0? I think it's in the ballpark. It's fair. So really, really happy to have a Silver Age book come in from this order. So there you go. That is an unboxing from Atomic Avenue. What do you think? Is that a place maybe you might want to check out for your back issues or to satisfy those feelings of FOMO? It is for me. I love it. I've been shopping there for many, many years to find great back issues. That's it. Happy collecting. See you next time.